Good morning, cadets. We have already seen two passages and some of the tricks by which we can understand the passage well. Now, let us take up the third passage and let us learn some of the skills to comprehend the passage well. So, some of the tricks you should remember. You don't have to read the passage first, but give more importance to the questions. So that's why first read the first question, then you can go back to the passage. And remember, in the UPSC examinations, all the passages that appear, they are quite short. They'll be of a paragraph. So here you'll find the similar kind of passage. In the case of board examination, the passages are quite long. At least 4 to 5 paragraphs you'll find there. But in the case of competitive examinations, the passages are short. So let's go to this passage and let's understand this passage before we read the questions. So what we'll do, we'll read at first one question, then we'll go back to the passage before reading remaining questions. So we'll play one particular trick, and let's then after that we can take up some other tricks too. So let's go to the question now. The author uses the phrase inner forces in this passage. Now, with what meaning inner forces the author has used? You start questioning yourselves. So that's why when you approach the passage with questioning attitude, what will happen? Your understanding will be better. So here, what does the question mean? Here the question refers to the phrase. And what is the phrase? Inner forces. Which of the following would be its a most correct meaning in the context? So in this context, or what is the contextual meaning of this particular phrase? Now what is a phrase? More than a word, if it is there, it's a phrase. And here, inner forces, that is a phrase. Emotional disturbance, strength of the internal organs, forces produced by sense organs, reflection of the intellect. So let's go to the passage now. As the tortoise tucks its feet and head inside the shell and will not come out even though you may break the shell into pieces. Even so, the character of the man who has control over his motives and organs is unchangeably established. He controls his own inner forces and nothing can draw them out against his will. By this continuous reflex of good thoughts and good impressions moving over the surface of the mind, the tendency to do good becomes strong, and in consequence, we are able to control the indriyas or sense organs. So it's a very, very philosophical passage. Now, here, what is it about? Now, first of all, remember it's about tortoise. Is it really about tortoise? They have used tortoise as a symbol. And in the temples, you'll come across the tortoise, which are each there in the stone. What do they symbolize? It is all about that. As a tortoise tucks its feet and head inside the shell and will not come out even though you may break the shell. So it's a limbs. What it does, it pulls inwards when the tortoise is in danger. And it will not come out even though you break its shell. So it is compared with what? It's only symbolic. It is not about tortoise, but it is about the character of the man who has control over his motives and organs. It's a man who should be able to control his motives and organs. It is about that. He controls his own inner forces. So what is it refers to? That is a question. And nothing can draw them out against his will. So here he's controlling his own inner forces. So inner forces is referring to emotional disturbance. No, you eliminate. We have learned the trick of elimination. First, emotional disturbance. No. Strength of the internal organs. Is it dealing with that strength of the internal organs? No. Now you have forces produced by sense organs. So it's a referring to what? He controls the sense. He's controlling the sense organs because we are able to control the indriyas. We are able to control sense organs. In consequence, ultimately the result is what? It's a control of sense organs. So forces produced by sense organs. So whatever may be the influences, maybe the some sort of temptations. So those forces, so here inner forces, probably here controlling probably the instincts or controlling the feelings that is the result of our sense organs. It is referring to that. So forces produced by sense organs. And what are the sense organs? Yes, eyes, ears, nose, your skin, tongue. These are the sense organs. Okay, let's go to the next question now. Which of the following statements would illustrate the metaphor in the passage? Now, what is the metaphor here? It's a tortoise. And tortoise compared with what? It's compared with, now here, the way it is compared with the character of the man who is able to control or his motives and organs. So that is what is compared. Now let's see here. Man is slow moving and slow witted. Eliminate. No, it is nothing to do with that. It is not the race there. It is nothing to do that. It's symbol. It's symbolic. It's a metaphorical. A man of character refuses to be influenced by outside compulsions against his will. So character, man of character, it's referring to the character. Man confines himself to a life of isolation? No. Eliminate. Man cannot have a good character or strong will. Eliminate that. So here you are quite sure. You can infer the answer. A man of character refuses to be influenced by outside compulsions against his will. So inner forces. Now let's go to the next question. Which of the following statements may be assumed to reflect the central theme of the passage? See, remember what kind of questions are asked. Either it will be related to theme or the tone or the facts. So you have to be sure of that. So you need not worry about each and every word that you come across there. That is not important. What is very important? What is the question? And the information related to that, whether you are able to find that, that is what is very important. So if you are able to grasp that passage, then definitely you'll be able to answer that question. So let's see here, which of the following statements may be assumed to reflect the central theme of the passage. So central theme of the passage. Good thoughts lead to the control of the sense organs. Now here, control of the sense organs leads to good thoughts. Is it control of the sense organs is leading to good thoughts, or is it the good thought leading to the control of the sense organs? Just think over that. Then character, though established, may be disturbed by outside forces. No man can achieve success in destroying the inner forces. Now here you see here what is given there. Fourth line. By this continuous reflex of good thoughts, he controls his own inner forces. Then again, by this continuous reflex of good thoughts and good impressions moving over the surface of the mind, the tendency to do good becomes strong. So it's a referring to what? It's a referring to the good thoughts lead to the control of the sense organs. So right answer is A of 13th one. Right? Okay. Let's move on to the next question now. Which is the question now? The next question is 14th one. Which of the following statements would be most correct in explaining the metaphorical meaning of break the shell into pieces? break the shell into pieces, destruction of the human body, breaking of the physical environment of man, attempt to destroy man's character, inflicting physical and mental agony. So here find out the answer for that. Which of the following statements would be most correct in explaining? Now here metaphorical meaning of break the shell into pieces. So whatever it happens, it will pull the moment it's pull its limbs, the moment it says, and let anything happen. Now here destruction of human body, breaking of the physical environment, attempt to destroy man's character. So here it is referring to man's character. Let anything happen, but it has withdrawn its limbs. So here, attempt to destroy man's character, let it be anything. Break the shell here, it is referring to a lot of attempt of destroying man's character. It is C is the right answer there. Let's go to the last question. The passage consists of two long sentences and a short one. The purpose of this style could be to suggest that it is impossible for man to attain perfection of character. The attainment of perfect character is the result of a long process of mental discipline. The whole life process is clumsy. There's a lot of confusion in our understanding of sense organs, character, etc. Now, what is it about? The passage consists of very long, two long sentences and short one. And what is the purpose of this style? That is what is the question. Now, here naturally, the answer will be B. The attainment of character. Remember, once you understand that this passage is about character, look for whenever in the answer character comes. And then probably sense organs, character. It is all related to that. And there are many other things that have been given there. They are not relevant. What is very important is you concentrate on these are see these are all keywords. If you are able to concentrate on keywords, you'll be able to find the answer for that. Now here is character, perfect character. How can you attain that character? And it is the result of a long process of mental discipline. So the purpose of this style is to suggest that it can be through discipline. This is what is possible. Okay, let's move on to the next passage. Passage number 4. Let's go to that passage and let's study the questions which are there at the end of this passage. First, we'll take up first question and then after that, we'll come to this very short passage. It is at the root of many of the problems, means that. Root of problems. Now, when you are looking at this, what you do, all grammatical words, you leave it. Like it is at the see to give us meaning, those are not very important. What is very important that you have to look for. You look for the keywords. If you look for the keywords, you'll be able to find the answer here. Root of problems. Root of many problems. It is found along with many other problems. So options, you just read fast or just read the question, go to the passage. That is one way better rather than reading all the options. Read the question, go to the passage. You can, if you want, you can read two questions. I mean, second one also, you can just go through that. Let's see, second one, what is it? The present satisfactory portion in regard to food and cloth is due to. Okay, so let's read the first question and think about that. Root of many problems. One of the most serious problems confronting our country is that of a fast growing population. In fact, it is at the root of many other problems. So here it's a fact and it's a factual detail which is given there, and very easily you can find out that in when you read these two sentences you'll find the answer for the first question. You need not think about remaining all options. You need not get confused with other options. So read the question and go directly to the passage. So that's why you have found the answer for that. So what may be the answer for that? Now it is at the root of many of the problems. What is the root of the many of the problems? That is population, fast growing population. It is found along with many other problems. It is caused by many other problems. It gives rise to many other problems. Naturally, it gives rise to many. So that's why it is at the root of many other problems. Okay. Now, why it is at the root of a problem? Because it is giving rising to the many other problems. Okay, let's go to the next. Now, the present satisfactory position in regard to food and cloth is due to. Okay, now it is due to what? Now here, then you have to read further. At the moment, thanks to planning, we're able to produce food and cloth sufficient. Now here, food and cloth, satisfactory position that is sufficient for our people and even in some excess. So they are satisfactory due to what? But if the population continues to grow at this rate, now here, thanks to planning, we are able to produce. So it is thanks to planning. So let's see here where planning has come. Just let's see. The fact that the population has been controlled. And what is the next one? Our good luck, good rainfall, or economic planning. What is it? The present satisfactory position in regard to food and cloth is due to our economic planning. So thanks due to planning. So it is very clear there. So therefore, you very easily can find its answer. So likewise, you have to play a kind of game with your mind. Then you'll be able to find the answers for that. Let's go to the next question. If the population of India continues to increase at this rate, the situation in regard to food and cloth is likely to remain the same, is likely to become less satisfactory. Let's see here. What is it? If the population keeps on increasing, then what will be the situation as far as food and cloth is concerned? So what is given there? Now here what is, if the population continues to grow at this rate, it will not be long before the surplus turns into a bare minimum, and even a definition is likely to improve, no. Is likely to vary up and down, no. Then one of those two for A and B is likely to remain the same, no. And B is the right answer, is likely to become less satisfactory. Okay, so now let's move on to the next question. Question number 19. The situation in respect of accommodation. Now here next you see here what is given there. The position in regard to accommodation is even now far from satisfactory in spite of our efforts. Very clearly it is given. Far from satisfactory. What does it mean? Is less than satisfactory, is quite satisfactory, is improving rapidly, leave it, eliminate, is a result of total neglect, eliminate, is quite satisfactory, again eliminate. What is the answer? A is less than satisfactory. And now we'll move on to the last one. That is the last question. And what is that last question? Let's see here. At present, Indians have more provision for cloth than accommodation, more provision for accommodation than cloth, abundance of cloth and accommodation, scarcity of cloth and accommodation. And remember, when you're trying to find out what you should do, you should read the passage again and again. Remember, in UPSC examinations, all those passages which are given, they are quite short. Now, here, what is the question about? It is there is a kind of comparison. Now, Indians have provision for cloth than accommodation. That is what you have to find out. You have to compare that, and then more provision for accommodation than cloth, for cloth than accommodation, abundance of cloth and accommodation. So that you eliminate abundance of cloth and accommodation, and scarcity of cloth and accommodation, that you have to eliminate, and you have to find one of them, A or B, and one of them what is given there, when cloth accommodation, that is given there here. The portion in regard to accommodation, what is it? Far from satisfactory. As far as cloth is concerned, then what is it? It is quite sufficient. So therefore, so what will be the answer for this particular question? That I think it's quite clear to you. More provision for accommodation than cloth. Is it that? More, at present Indians have more provision for accommodation than cloth, or more provision for cloth than accommodation. The right answer is more provision for cloth then accommodation. I hope you understood. Thank you. Goodbye.